السلام عليكم.
I think I was connected to Bluetooth. Yikes. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay. I think I was on Bluetooth. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
on my
yeah, yeah.
speaker. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear your responses.
No, it's okay. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, let me send in the groups and then inshallah we can get started.
Sounds good.
How was work?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Yeah, very quiet today.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah. In the ma'usri yusra. In the ma'usri yusra.
Always, alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
How was your day? Productive?
Alhamdulillah. Very productive. I did a lot of old man stuff today.
What does that entail?
Nice walk. Alhamdulillah. Nah, I took care of some other things. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Inshallah, we give it another minute or two.
Inshallah.
How's Pops?
Alhamdulillah. We went walking too.
Okay.
Old people things, right?
Old people stuff. There we go. You
But I don't
get good
consider
at it?
myself old, you know what I'm saying? We're still considered youth.
Right. Get good at it, you'll start sitting out on the porch at 2 in the morning all the way up until 8 in the morning. That's when you know you've taken it to the next level.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Inshallah, I'm going to send these notes to you when we finish.
Okay, inshallah.
Serve as a reminder. But inshallah, I think I'm going to send them to everyone.
Inshallah. Barakallah feek.
Inshallah. Inshallah, we can begin. Okay. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah, this is the beginning of a new series of sessions regarding heart softeners, regarding Kitaab Riqaaq, specifically from Sahih al-Bukhari. Imam al-Bukhari needs no introduction. Okay. Outside of the Quran, he is known to have compiled the most authentic book after it. As for why we've chosen Kitaab Riqaaq, the book of heart softeners, it's for a number of reasons. Firstly is because, especially being Muslims in the West, we are attacked from many different angles in regards to ways that our heart becomes hard. And there's no doubt Shaitan is behind all of these attacks. The heart becomes hard for many different reasons: disobedience and sin, lewdness, lust, okay, hatred, enmity, jealousy. Even ignorance can serve as a source for the heart becoming hard. And on top of that, as I mentioned, being in the West, America, Canada, what we know as the West today, Europe, South America, so forth and so on. These societies we live in, unfortunately, propagate that which hardens the heart. And it's in everything, almost everything that is in these places. Whether you go from marketing, the billboards, the commercials, whether it's on radio or television itself, okay, the food we eat or have available to us, intoxicants, so forth and so on, and the propagation and encouragement of lewdness and the celebration of it. وهكذا. All of these plus more are ingredients that do nothing but harden the heart and make the heart become black. So without a doubt, there's a great need for at least briefly giving an overview of what we know as heart softeners. Going through my notes and compiling these things, no doubt even that had an effect on me. Inshallah, as we move forward, we'll see that these ahadith that are in Kitaab Riqaaq and Sahih al-Bukhari are very true, extremely true. And inshallah, if your intention is correct, they will have a good impact on your hearts. Inshallah, moving forward, we want to begin with what is the meaning of Riqaaq. Riqaaq is that which softens the heart. Okay? Riqaaq is that which softens the heart. As we mentioned, the heart can become hard due to many things: sins, negligence, ghafla, heedlessness, ma'asi. Okay? And the scholars, when they compiled their chapters, they will put these certain ahadith in these chapters because these are the ahadith that will have a profound effect on softening the heart. So the name of this chapter is Babu ma ja'a fi riqaq wa anna aisha illa aishu al-akhirah. This is the chapter of what has come in heart softeners, and that there's no life worth living except the life of the hereafter. As we see in the title of the chapter itself, it itself is a reminder that does away with this life that we're currently living. And it tells us and reminds us that there's no life worth living except the life of the hereafter, the eternal life, the life in which you will get everything that is due to you, and everyone else will get that which is due to them. The life in which, inshallah, the Muslims are into Jannah. The life in which, inshallah, your book of deeds will be placed in your right hand rather than your left. The life that begins in the qabr, that begins in the grave. Okay. For those who wish to follow the actual ahadith, we are in volume 8, book 76, hadith number 421. Okay, Kitaab Riqaaq, the book of heart softeners in Sahih al-Bukhari. The first hadith we find in this compilation of ahadith in this chapter is a hadith that is narrated by Ibn Abbas. Okay. حدثنا المقي بن إبراهيم أخبرنا عبد الله بن سعيد هو ابن أبي هند عن أبيه عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ إلى الآخر. This hadith is narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said what could be translated to mean there are two blessings that many people are deceived into losing: health and free time. Health and free time. Certainly, there's no doubt this is the truth. And even if you deny the speech of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, life experiences of yourself and from others close to you will also prove that this is the truth. Most people will lose these. Many days pass and a person is healthy with free time. But because they do not take advantage, this becomes a grave loss. And the Prophet ﷺ, he's signaling that this is a loss. This is a loss. And these are gifts, ni'matan. These are gifts. And as we know, so from the sunnah of Allah, that if He gives a gift or blessing to someone and he or she misuses it or doesn't use it enough and overlooks it and takes advantage of it, that Allah will take that blessing, that ni'mah from you and give it to someone who will properly use it and appreciate it. Typically, one doesn't realize yani, the graveness of these and the greatness of these blessings until Allah takes it away. And this is the person who will have major regrets. Major regrets. As there is a hadith that has been reported in Sahih al-Jami'. It's been collected by Shaykh al-Albani, who could be translated to mean that all of Bani Adam there is not a single, I'm paraphrasing, there's not a single moment that goes by without the dhikr of Allah, except that all of Bani Adam will find some regret in that. They will find some regret in that. Those who use their health in their free time, these people who use their health and free time wisely, these are people of firmness, resolution, and they're focused. Okay, and those who they know that time in good health passes quicker than what we think. And other than these people, they believe that these favors are slow and long lasting. Okay. Until Allah sweeps it from under them, until Allah takes it from them. And this is not just with these two blessings of good health and free time. This is with all blessings that Allah gives to this kind of person. Then we have the concept of those believing they will live longer or live as long as they believe they'll live as long as. So they put off things, procrastinate. I'll do this later. I'll change this then. I'll make tawbah later, and then Allah afflicts them and tests them with a trial upon their health and takes it away. So what we learn from this, firstly, is that we should not feel secure. We cannot feel secure that we will always have whatever good health and time that we do have at the current state. Also, you have those who, in regards to time, who do not perform certain sunnah, for example. Even for those who do not do that which is optional but highly recommended, your time can be taken away from you as a punishment or as a warning that you should be doing that which is even highly recommended but not obligatory. And you'll see those who, for example, do not offer the sunnah rak'ats surrounding the 5 obligatory salah, that Allah has given them this time to make and offer 8 rak'ats surrounding Salat al-Dhuhr, 6 rak'ats surrounding Salat al-Asr, وهكذا. And Allah sees that you're not taking advantage of His opportunity. As I mentioned before, and I've seen this with my own 2 eyes, He will take that time away from you. He will take that time away from you. And this is, again, to serve as a reminder that we should be busying ourselves with something beneficial that is pleasing to Allah with whatever time we have. And that these things we call health, good health, and free time are gifts. They are gifts. They are not owed to us. Okay? These are gifts. To show the importance of time and how the people of knowledge used to guard their time, there's a story of one of the people of knowledge. He used to teach a lot. And while teaching, after finishing teaching rather, he would always have to go through a certain door in order to get to where he needed to get to. The thing is about this door that it was extremely tough to open. It would take about 3 or 4 seconds to open it. And the Sheikh, he knew this. So imagine all the times he goes back and forth through this door per day. Okay? 3 and 4 seconds, they add up each time he's going through this door. So the Sheikh notices this. And then he takes it upon himself to readjust the hinges of the door so that the door would then open and close a lot easier and faster, thereby those 3 and 4 seconds no longer being wasted waiting for the door to open. This is how the people who care about their time and use their time wisely, this is their character. This is how they treat their time. Any one of us, we see this as a regular door. But for the muhsin, trying to maximize all of their time, they see this as an opportunity to gain more seconds of their life back. We have a hadith to take this concept of taking advantage of our good health and our time wisely. This hadith, it states, وَخُذْ مِنْ صِحَّتِكَ لِمَرَضِكَ وَمِنْ حَيَاتِكَ لِمَوْتِكَ. It could be translated to mean, take from your good health for your sickness, and take from your life for your death. In essence, what this means is use the good health that you have. Take from that. Because you will not always be healthy, and it will serve as an investment for the times that you will be sick. And use the time you've been given to live. Take from that in order to supplement and invest in your death. Invest the hereafter, as you will no longer be able to set up your life in the hereafter anymore. Again, ad-dinu nasiha. This religion is sincere advice. This religion is sincere advice. And you'll see the subtleties and the differences between who we call a scholar, a mu'min and a muhsin, and the regular Muslim. It's the application of a hadith like this and the previous one and the ones we'll go over. It's the application of these, the things that we overlook, they take advantage of. And these things we see as little, they see as huge. And also these things we see as little, they know that in the sight of Allah, these things are huge. We have another hadith to further explain, add to this concept of taking advantage of our health and our free time, that we will be tricked into losing time in and time out. The hadith states, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا مات الإنسان انقطع عنه عمله إلا من ثلاثة إلا صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. This hadith could be translated to mean when death comes to a person, all good deeds are cut off for him or her except for three. There's no more opportunity. You've been given plenty of time in this life, on this earth, to commit good deeds with the good health that Allah has given you and the time that Allah has given you. All of your good deeds are going to be cut off upon your death except for three. Firstly being a continuous charity, sadaqah jariyah, planting a date palm tree that people, generations that come after you benefit from, like this, or knowledge people can benefit from, classes, audios, explanations, Quran, anything you know of Islam, books, videos, whatever. Or a righteous child that supplicates for you. Just a reminder, everything I say is first and foremost a reminder to myself and the decisions that I make and that I have to make for my own self. This hadith states that there's a way that you can invest in your hereafter and continue to rack up good deeds as if you were alive. Three different ways. By use of your time and your good health. You may not always be able to set up different ways to have ongoing charity. You have the time and the health, do it now. You may not be able to always write and teach and do things like this. You have the time and the good health, do what you can now. And do not underestimate what you have to put forward for the ummah, for the sake of Allah. You may not always be healthy to produce children. Obviously, there's a lot more things that go into that, but some say to this, do it now. This, inshallah, is further explanation of the hadith we mentioned before. وَخُذْ مِنْ صِحَّتِكَ لِمَرَضِكَ وَمِنْ حَيَاتِكَ لِمَوْتِكَ. To take from your good health for the times you are sick, and to take from your life for the time you will pass. This gives us, as we mentioned before, examples of how we can use that time and that good health in order to invest in the next life. And this is in regards to the ways we can continuously receive these good deeds, even while in the grave. And as we think, we say, what better investment, what better use of your time and your good health can there be than this? What better use of our time and our good health can there be than to set up ways for us to gain reward after we've passed away? We move even further, coming across the last hadith that we'll mention for this segment, for this session. The hadith that is collected in Sahih al-Jami' by Shaykh al-Albani, where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is known to have said what can be translated to mean the people of Jannah. Even the people of Jannah will not have any regrets except for those moments in which they were not engaged in the dhikr of Allah. Allahu Akbar. And this is Ahlul Jannah. So what about us? What about us? We haven't been guaranteed anything. We don't know where we'll end up. We don't know how our life on this earth, how this life is going to end, let alone where we'll end up in the next life. How many moments do we let pass without mentioning the name of Allah or doing something productive? So, inshallah, these are beneficial reminders, and if we didn't know about these things, it's beneficial learning points for us to take with us as we move forward and as we live our lives on this earth. We have some things we can take with us. Simple principles of taking advantage of the time that Allah gives us and taking advantage of the good health that Allah has blessed us with. And there's no doubt as we mentioned before, connecting it to the previous hadith that we mentioned, that the time that we let go by without praising Allah will serve as a source of regret for us. So we ask Allah to make us of those who value our time and spend it doing that which is pleasing to Allah. I mean, we ask Allah to soften our hearts by means of these beneficial reminders and make our hearts inclined to that which is halal and incline away from all that which is haram. Any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions regarding anything we went over today?
Jazakumullah khairan. That was very deep. Good reminder too. Alhamdulillah. I guess my more like a suggestion. So after like these lessons that we hear, can you give us like practical steps, like the takeaway of what we should do? I know like one of them would be to be in the dhikr of Allah, like, you know, constantly remembering Allah. But the little things that we could take away and we can start implementing.
Well, the things that you're mentioning, I believe, are more specific to the person themselves, to the person, him or herself. He or she knows the time that Allah gives him or her that they typically overlook. They know that best. We have the obvious things that you mentioned that doesn't even take free time. We could be busy doing other things, even at work. We could always recite Quran as long as Allah gives us the ability to move our mouths and have a voice. You can always recite Quran. You can always make istighfar. Istighfar is something that I would actually recommend the most, because Allah mentions that the fuel for Jahannam is men or mankind and stones. It's also mentioned in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that the later of the generations after the Prophet ﷺ and those two generations that succeeded him in his generation, most of the inhabitants of Jahannam will come from the later generations. So we have to think about our default position. Our default position is that we will be of those men and women and stones that are fueling Jahannam, because we are from those later generations. So also combined with the principle of pushing away the harm, taking precedence over enjoying the good, I would highly recommend to make istighfar a lot. Asking Allah to forgive you for all these sins that you know you committed and those that you do not know you committed. And inshallah, Allah will open up doors for you by means of this sincere istighfar, sincere asking of forgiveness, and to take any means you need to correct any sins you've committed. I would say this would be most practical. This is, I would say, most beneficial. And to lastly, stop these bad habits or these continuous sins that lead us to our hearts being hard. So making istighfar, I would say, is number one. Clearing up all of your sins and making tawbah accordingly. Okay, and making sure anything you're doing that you have the right intention and that it's pleasing to Allah, and that anything you're doing, a sign that it is good is that you can say the basmalah before it. If you cannot say the basmalah before doing that thing or saying that thing, then you should not be doing or saying that thing. And that's in general, atop the specific things to the person that he or she knows about himself best. I'll tell you one story. I know someone who did not pray these uh, nawafil or sunan rakat around the 5 obligatory salah. And this person had the time to do so. At the time, this person was not working. So what happened was this person, Allah gave this person some work. But lo and behold, at this job, this person could no longer make those uh, optional salawat around the obligatory salawat. Allah took that away from this person because this person did not take advantage of that time and health that they had to take advantage of it. So this is a specific example atop those general things that I mentioned. Is there anything else you wanted to get more specifically out of the answer, or?
No, Jazakallah khairan, that was sufficient. I have one more
Any
question.
other question? Yeah.
What if someone's heart is really hard, like it's hard? How does it come,
Mhm.
like what can be done to soften it? Because if you mention things like this, like what if that doesn't phase them because their heart becomes hard? Is it too late for that person? Obviously, in the hands of Allah, anything is possible, but for that person, like, what can be done?
It's never too late. We have to keep in mind the saying of Allahumma anta salam wa alamu. Tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Oh Allah, you are, with you is peace. Wa minka salam. From you comes peace. This goes to show that the softening of the heart and the peace that comes with that comes from returning back to Allah. And this is by means of sincere tawbah. Because the heart is only hard and allowed to get hard by means of sin or heedlessness or what have you, things that are not good. So this person, upon them, if they have a very hard heart, is to return back to Allah in all facets, in tawbah, istighfar, in obedience, in putting himself around people who will remind him or her of Allah, or things like this. Then inshallah, slowly and surely Allah will soften that person's heart again. It's not a matter of getting to a certain point. Those who believe that you have to reach a certain point in this life are typically the ones that believe there's no forgiveness for them. They believe there's no second chance for them. But for those who know that it's only upon them to be upon the path with sincerity, and those are the ones that know that just as easy as Allah has led them astray, it's just as easy as Allah can guide them again. And sometimes Allah leads us astray to show us the bad and ill effects of what we've been doing and have not been doing. So for this person to return back to Allah, there's no way around it. This is the beautiful thing about Islam. It's very simple. It's very simple, but it's not easy for a lot of people. And this is what makes a true woman and a true man. The ability to admit to the Creator, I've fallen off of the right path that you gave me the ability to be upon. Inshallah, Allah will forgive you. And it's by your doing, it's by your good doing first, that Allah will then soften the heart. It takes work, it requires work. We're not of a different religion where we believe that I say this, I say that, and now I am at this level of iman and faith for the rest of my life, no matter what I do. This is not the Islamic creed, the correct Islamic belief. Rather, hardness of our heart, our iman, things like this increase and decrease based upon our obedience and disobedience, and things like those things. Did I answer the question? You need something more specific.
الحمد لله was good. جزاكم الله خيرا.
All right. So let me check how long. Okay, 47 minutes. Okay. So inshallah, we will end here, and we'll take on the next hadith, a series of hadith, next Wednesday. بإذن مولاه عز وجل. طيب. Okay, inshallah, I'm going to get with you regarding what we need to go over.
Inshallah.
Okay. As soon as this is over, we have to offer Salatul Isha. So let's reconvene via telephone. There's no need for Zoom. Let's reconvene via telephone at about 8:30, 8:35. Is that good?
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Let's go.
فيك بارك.
Inshallah, Neef, I'll get with you later on, man. Alhamdulillah. طيب سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.